I just finished pulling multiple boxes of triple drive boosters, setting off my stock, talking to customers, talking to shops, and discussing about the success and failures of this set. But a lot of people say, "Oh my goodness, you're just a V sellout." Time to change history. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Season 4 here. Today I'm back to cover So Lang Nu Maelstrom, which is of course Maelstrom. Just like me, or at least what people claim I am, Maelstrom is also another person who is deep in revisionist history, being forced to be revived by the Void 3,000 years ago by the hands of Leon Soyu by trading off 3 amazing profitable clans, all for the sake of Bushiroad to print an 8th trial deck. So now we are back again to cover Maelstrom in D. I've never covered Maelstrom in G or V before because I didn't really bear a strong bond to it. I like Maelstrom since I was young, I was around since BT08, but I never really enjoyed it. I think my only real first encounter with Maelstrom was probably in Zero, where he was my first competitive deck. I've picked him up since BT08 because he was very cheap, and he still is, but there are 1 or 2 cards right now that's quite expensive, but you can work around it. Today, I'm here to give you the optimal Maelstrom list. This is a list I'm very confident in moving into 2023. This video is recorded before the strategy presentation, before the Divinez mechanic. So, I could be completely wrong. Maybe Divinez is, you cannot multi-attack, then, screw me. But I'm just gonna try my luck to really present this to you. I've had a lot of good games moving forward with stuff like Maigo, Lua, Shiranui. I managed to get a good hand on evasion, but at the same time, a very good advantage. My hand size for this deck is usually around 10, 15, which is quite insane. You draw a lot, but the deck out is possibly there. So the games do end quite fast because our meta is still quite fast. So today let's actually talk about it. What makes Maelstrom viable, what makes it possible, and what are the ways you can build it. Just like my approach in V, my hope is for this deck profile, you can see that there are still very good rogues out there. I would present on others, but I just wanted to show Maelstrom first because I still feel he has a chance. Now, next ban list, maybe they may just do something completely different and this will completely invalidate his deck profile. But I'm also doing it in a hope for my English audience because you guys will be in DBT13's meta for a good part of, I think, 2 to 3 months. So I think it's a good idea that we get comfortable with what we have and yeah, let's talk about it. Our right deck is obviously we start with Officer Cadet Eric. Eric is our Aqua Force starter. You don't need to play Eric, but I strongly believe you should because, show allegiance to the fleet. And then, of course, we have Theo. You will notice here I have some FRs here. It's from WGP as prize cards. I've not gotten this one yet. It's on the way. But my hope is to finish a whole set for the Asia Circuit. Yes, Asia Circuit means, Vermillion and Ezel as well. So yeah, just pray for me. Pray that I can get it in time because I would like this deck to be fully completed. I feel it deserves it. Moving on to Theo. Theo, when rolled upon by the Aqua Force unit, search your deck for a Judgment Maelstrom and add it to your hand. So it's the field spell. Yes, Maelstrom has a field spell. We'll talk about it in a bit. It's kind of funny because it states just Aqua Force. So in the future, if you want to play this in a right deck with Tavas, you can. Although I'm not sure why you're giving up the crest. But his second skill is also more Maelstrom reliant, which is that on the rear guard, if your Vanguard's Maelstrom, he gains 5,000 power. It's very good for one reason. That's a 13k booster you're talking about. And Maelstrom calls stuff from the soul, so okay, shocker. I'm just gonna get out of the way too. Next, you have Algos. Algos, when rolled upon by a unit only of Aqua Force, that means it counts for Tavas in the future. You can look at the top 7 cards of your deck and superior call one from among them that is a Tier Dragon or a Aqua Force. So it's very inclusive in this deck. You get to call either a 3,000-year-old Bioroid or you get Aquaroid, or you can just call one of the Tier Dragons from times past. It's very impressive, to be honest, and I kind of wish they kept this for Narukami. I kind of wish they allowed us to call Thunder Dragons as well as Narukami. I kind of wish Go Paladin allowed us to call humans as well. But no, just no. It's only Aqua Force that's strangely so inclusive. I don't know why. Leon Soyu, your PR is unbeatable. I give up. The second skill is that when he attacks, if it's the wave 4, and your opponent's Vanguard is great shield greater, he gains 5,000 power, and when his attack hits, you drop. Okay, it's a nice skill, you may or may not use it. And of course, the big boy is Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom. Maelstrom, by discarding one card in your hand, choose a Aqua form, Stoichiea Dragon from your soul, and call it to a rearguard circle. If you do, it gains 2 effects. 1. When he attacks a Great Shield Greater Vanguard, if it is wave 1, counterblast 1 and stand this unit. With ability 2, at the end of the turn, move this unit back into the soul. So, Maelstrom gives a unit a temporary evasion. He comes out from inside you, he plays around a bit, he gets an additional attack for 1 counterblast, which is very, very important. But it only works going second, and by the end of the turn, it also must move into the soul. So if you're thinking about it and saying, what guy can circumvent that skill? We have people to circumvent that skill, so we will cover them later. And it's still pretty good. The downside though is that if you're using this Maelstrom effect, you kind of have to use it either from turn 4 onwards or going second, because you don't really want to call Theo and Algos. I mean, realistically, because they don't stay on the board the whole turn, it's actually not a good idea to invest a whole card into -1. Which is very controversial because a lot of people say, oh, you should throw a 13k booster. Well, sometimes you don't. I know Maelstrom's biggest weakness is defense triggers, but that doesn't mean you just go all in just to lose to a casual over trigger. That's not what you do here. But a skill that has proven itself reliable, a skill you will use all the time, a skill that you will love and hate, no matter what generation of Maelstrom is his wave 4 limit break. When Maelstrom declares an attack, if it is wave 4, you can choose one opponent's rear guards and retire it, draw a card. Solid! For doing absolutely nothing. I mean, Flagberg has to literally crawl miles with no legs. Maelstrom just walks onto an empty battlefield, giving you a -1 for your opponent, a +1 for you. I can't complain. I kind of wish they gave him 5,000 power as well to follow the limit break. But to be very honest, considering I can do this at 0 to 1 CB, I'm damn well gonna take it, man. No complaints from me. Moving on to his great trees, and there are a lot. We play 3 copies of Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom for the main deck and 1 copy for the right deck. We play 3 copies of the world famous Inlet Pulse and then 2 copies of Gatling Gun. Yeah, that is quite a lot of great trees. I know what you're thinking, but no, we have more. We play 3 copies of Judgment Maelstrom and 1 copy of the Bastion plushie, also known as Forbidal Surrogate. I'll cover these later because I strongly believe that if I cover this first, you may be very confused. Maelstrom we need to play 4 because you need to Persona Ride. This deck does really badly in terms of numbers. In the later parts of the game, you will need a Persona Ride to pray to chip over a trigger. There is someone else that can help us with numbers, someone very controversial I'm bringing back from set 9, but the idea is that your Persona Ride will change the game. So look for your Persona Rides if you can, they are very impactful. Especially for Maelstrom, because Maelstrom's damage triggers are very bad. Inlet Pulse. Half of these card stacks are completely irrelevant to you. I just think you should know that. But the skill you matter about is, at the end of the turn, if you have attacked 4 more times, slide this unit to the soul, draw 1 card. This is the key way you can stop Maelstrom from eating his own allies if Inlet Pulse can just evade and draw first. Very effective. Inlet Pulse is very expensive. Sadly, he was one of the few staples not reprinted in Triple Drive Booster. I don't know why. They may reprint him in Festival Collection 2024, but do not hold me for that. Okay, I'm sorry if I raise any hopes, but do not hold me for that. But you do not need to play this card at a 4. It is too excessive. It's too much. I think 2 to 3 is a perfect ratio. As long as you have 1 copy of Inlet Pulse in circulation in your soul, generally that's all you will ever ask for. I'm playing 3 just to be safe and because I have the financial means to do so. But if you can only afford 2 Inlet Pulse, it's better than nothing. I just need to get it out of the way. This is the most expensive card in this deck. Everything else in this deck is dog shit, dog cheap pennies. I mean like 200 yen, 300 yen levels of cheap. This is the only guy that exceeds 4 digits. In terms of yen, okay? I don't know USD, I'm sorry. Then of course we have Gatling Gun Dragon. Gatling Gun Dragon is basically budget Inlet Pulse, but he's a more deadly Inlet Pulse. When this unit attacks, if you have attacked for wave 5 or higher, this and your Vanguard is a Maelstrom, gain 10,000 power, at the end of the turn, kill himself and draw 1. Highly effective. This is basically your last attack. This is where After Maelstrom attacks, you go in with Gatling Gun and end the turn. Very good that he gains 10,000 power by himself, but there's a downside, and that's he's just a finisher. He cannot help you for the first 4 attacks, so you will need people to help you for the first 4 attacks. And we'll get to that. Your last for your grade 3s is Formidable Surrogate as well as Judgment Maelstrom. Can I take a moment to talk about Judgment Maelstrom? It's very nice that they chose his encounter order to show his resurrection when he's brought back from the void and he's walking the earth for the first time. More like swimming the earth. I found it very nice. Thank you to the people who write the Elderly Law. I genuinely appreciate you guys, giving meaning to my meaningless childhood. Using the skill of Judgment Maelstrom when played is a set order. You can choose a... Now I need to check this just to be sure. Yes, you can choose an Aqua Force or Tear Dragon, same as Maelstrom, and call it from the drop zone. If you have a duplicate of Judgment Maelstrom, you can pass a unit 5,000 power for each other copy of Judgment Maelstrom at the side. So, turn 3, he's just basically a free spiritual body condensation. On turn 4 onwards, if you stack Judgment Maelstrom, he can give a unit +5. Now, this list is not focused around Judgment Maelstrom. There is a version where you can play around Judgment Maelstrom by playing the set 11 double rare to search for Judgment Maelstrom, where you play their grade 2 promo to gain multiple power for each copy of Judgment Maelstrom. I don't do that. Okay? So, Judgment Maelstrom is not a priority to proc off. If you pull it off, it's great. If you don't pull it off, it's fine. The priority you want to pull off is Formidable Surrogate. I hear people already moaning and whining watching this video saying, oh, this deck is unaffordable. Trust me, it's not that bad. I know it's very expensive, but if you see how much value Maelstrom gets off his card, you will thank me. Judgment Maelstrom's Formidable Surrogate's effect is that it's a Regalis piece, so you can only play, one of this per game and only one in your deck. Search your deck and drop for 2 different grade 3s with different name and call it to rearguard. So basically you get a free copy of Inlet Pulse and Gatling Gun for 1 card. And Gatling Gun and Inlet Pulse, if you play them correctly, it draws 2. So effectively, you can go up to +3 per turn by doing nothing. So, yeah, it's looking really good. It's still very effective. I do recommend. I do recommend you pick this up for sure. It's really fun. That's if you can afford it. If you can't afford Formidable Surrogate, please just buy another copy of Judgment Maelstrom. It's not that bad. Our grade 2s, we play, the same stuff. 4 copies of Tidal Assault. We play 2 copies of Tideline Dragon, who's also very, very influential. And then we play 1 copy of Algos in the right deck. Okay, so it's basically all the same. Algos, you've covered already. I won't cover him again. Tideline Dragon, if you persona this turn, so blast 1, choose this unit and another unit, and he gains 10,000 power. This is the main source of power that you can pull out. It just gives 20k free to a board and complete utter destruction because you will choose a card that can multi-attack. So your units will be multi-attacking for 30k minimum at the bare cost of 1 Soul Blast. Very insane. The problem with Tideline Dragon is it's a grade 2 that works on turn 4. So just do understand that, it's not very good, it's not very good, but I do feel that if you do get to live to turn 4, it's very effective. Of course, we have Tidal Assault. Tidal Assault is a card people really don't like, but to be honest, I've grown a lot to like it. So for Tidal Assault, the main general gist is that when he attacks, if it's wave 2, Color Blast 1, and your Vanguard Maelstrom, stand this unit. That's it. So you get Tidal Assault to swing into one of your opponent's rear guards because it's just 10k. Or if it's Persona right, you can attack the Vanguard for 20k, Counter Blast 1, stand. So besides him and the card Maelstrom calls from his soul, this is the main way you start your waves. This is the main way that you generate multi-attacks by turning 1 Counter Blast into 1 additional attacks. The second skill is that when this unit attacks, Soul Blast 1, choose your Vanguard Maelstrom, and you can gain 5,000 power. Now this skill is not once per turn, so every time Tidal Assault declares an attack, you can actually do that. I will mention though that you don't use this effect until the end game, where you're very confident that you will kill people. Then afterwards, you will actually Soul Blast 1 and then just generate 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Yes, now we will move on to the grade 1s in just a bit. Let me just put on one grade Okay, the grade 1s, we play 4 copies of Wheel Assault, 2 copies of this Gold, 2 copies of a Crystal Beast, 4 Perfect Guards, and then we also play 1 copy of Theo. Yep, sorry, there was a bit of a intermittent delay right there. I didn't intend for that to happen, but yep, let's talk about this very, very quickly. I want to start off by talking about Theo. I think Theo already know it's a very good booster. He searches for Judgment Maelstrom, right? Yeah, that's about it. Perfect Guards, of course, you want to stay alive. Yep. We don't play the Regalis. We don't play Sanctitude here, but if you have Sanctitude, you can afford to put it in. No issue. We play the Crystal Beast at 2. Very controversial, I know, but it can pay off sometimes. When placed on the Rearguard Circle or Guardian Circle, choose 2 cards that were from your right deck that are in a drop or soul and remove them from game, and move them back to the right deck face up. You get an effect based on where you called it. If you call it a Rearguard Circle, soul charge 2, choose one of your Rearguards and it gains 5,000 power. If it's on the Guardian Circle, it gains 15,000 shield. So defensively, pretty good. Offensively, pretty good because it gives you 2 soul back and it also chooses a unit to give 5, which means it helps for your multi-attack. Very effective, but the downside is that you're removing cards from your right deck, which, as you have seen, they are pretty valuable. So you need to be very cautious when playing this card. Don't just, overuse it because you will just break all of it down and just lose. Okay, and then of course you have this goal. This goal is actually from set 7, surprisingly. And for the first attack of your Rearguards, it gains 5,000 power. So that basically allows you to ensure that, for your weaker units such as Inland Pulse, they can chip for 18,000 power, which means it's not just a 5k guard. So it's very nice. I only play it 2 because this skill only works from the center back Rearguard Circle, so at most you only need 1. Wheel Assault is the honorary hard carry of this deck. At the end of the battle, this unit boosts if your Vanguard's Maelstrom, so +1, choose 2 of your Rearguards and swap their position. Basically, this turns on the whole deck and allows you to play the game. That is very much it. You need to play this at 4. It's a compulsory. You can't really play this at anything lesser. Moving on to our grade 0s. Our grade 0s, we obviously play the Stoichiea over trigger. We play 8 different critical triggers. We play 4 heal. And then of course we play 3 draw. And Eric. Little Eric. Yeah, that's basically about it. I think this lineup makes sense. Draws because it's peace reliant, crits we want to kill the game. OT, we are playing the Stoichiea OT because it's just that beneficial. And the rest is history. Heals, we want to play normal heals because we still need the shield. Yeah, the rest really kind of just solves itself, honestly. Effect triggers have been reprinted in triple drive booster as well as your quick start deck. So pick them up while you still have the chance because they are very affordable. I need to keep all these by, I'm so sorry. And yes, that wraps up my Maelstrom deck profile. Overall, I am very happy with this deck. I feel that this is certainly something that I can live with. This is certainly something I can play, more importantly. Maelstrom is definitely the most viable out of the 3 Asia Circuit bosses. And you heard that here first. I will put a link in the description for my Ezel and Vermillion deck profiles. Please check them out. It would mean a lot to me if you just take a listen and watch and see if they teach you anything. But I think the main story we can all take away from Maelstrom is that it doesn't matter where you're from, what you were resurrected from, what nation you're in. It's about playing with your pool. It's about innovating with what you have. Yes, sometimes you have to rely on a few expensive generics, but if it's gonna chip you over for a win, if you can use those generics better than the generics they were meant for, I say go for it. But of course, there are budget options as well. Like I mentioned, at most, you still only need 2 copies of Inland Pulse Dragon. So it's not the end of the world. And if you can't afford Forbidol, you can just buy a 4th Judgment Maelstrom. This list will work almost the same, just slightly less firepower. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like. Subscribe if you want to see a bit more D and a bit more V. But I kind of have to slow down a bit because I need to test more for Divinez. Moving forward, I will be anticipating the upcoming what's the thing called, the mechanic, as well as the strategy presentation. I will also be preparing a few more V decks to end this year, just so that we are all up to speed on the full state of the V format. I still feel there's more to give for both. I know some people say D is boring or V is boring. Absolute nonsense. The only one that's boring is Solitaire. See you all later.